Hi, I'm Gaz. I make videos about lots of different things, and in today's video I'm going to tell you all about what I think Americans hate about the British, so stay tuned to the latest episode of the G-Log.
Meet radio and television personality Gaz Reynolds, the founder of World Domination Records and Great Drive Driving School. Like, comment and subscribe to be part of the journey. This is Gaz Reynolds, the G-Log.
The G-Log album is now on sale worldwide. Get your copy now, available at YouTube Music, Spotify and all major outlets around the world. Links in the description below. Welcome to another exciting episode of the G-Log. For many years I travelled to America, partly because I was married to an American. Also I've got relatives that live in America, and also because I had a very successful music career in America. So I was often in America. Sorry if I've said America so many times. So I was in America very frequently. In fact, I think I went there around about between 37 and 40 times, and I went to many different states. Now, whilst I did find all the states different culturally in many ways, I did find that generally the same thing applied when it came to certain things that I think the Americans don't like about the Brits. But if you're American, or even if you're British, or even another nationality, and you can think of any other things that maybe annoy Americans about the British, please leave your comments down below. I've got to say, I do love America, just like I love England. I'm English, if you couldn't tell. Well, you must be able to tell from my accent, right? And because I went to America so many times and I've got such a fondness for America, I thought it'd be quite fun to talk about some of the things that I think really irritate Americans about British. So let's jump straight into the video. In Britain, we do not tip. So for example, if I went to a restaurant, I wouldn't tip, and it really wouldn't be expected, but I guess the waitresses or waiters or whoever would be quite pleased if you did leave a tip, but it really isn't a British tradition or custom, so it very rarely happens. The only person that I ever tip is my hairdresser, and that's always been something that I've always done, but I can say that even when I go to hair salons, I never see anybody tipping. The British are a mean load of buggers. They don't like to spend their money unless they really have to. So tipping is something they just don't do. Here's a tip for you. Buy the G-Log album. It's out now, on sale worldwide. One thing that I think really drives Americans crazy about the Brits is that I think the British probably assume that the majority of Americans are fat and that they're very loud. Now, I will say that me personally, I have found that a lot of Americans are very loud, but not all of them, and certainly not all are fat. So that is definitely something that I think probably upsets Americans, and if you're an American and you're watching this video, maybe you could leave some of your comments down below, because I'd love to hear from you. And anyway, who cares, because I'm fat and loud too. Now I have to admit, the very first time that I went to America, I was really scared, because for some reason in my mind, and I think this is generally a thing with the British because of what we see on in the media all the time, I actually believe that as soon as I got off the plane in America, there'd be people wielding guns everywhere, and of course it's just not like that. However, there is definitely a gun culture there, and there is definitely a problem. I can remember in a number of states that I went to where there were murders in the area that I was in, but then I could argue that there's murders in the UK as well, and I've been in areas where there has actually been murders. So, you know, I think this is something that's right across the board, but definitely, you know, I think Americans probably think that maybe the Brits think that everybody's walking around with a gun there, and I really don't think that's the case at all. Now, one thing that I do think does annoy Americans is I wouldn't say that Europe necessarily hates Donald Trump, but they just don't get him and they find him a bit strange. Now me, I've got mixed views about Donald Trump. I certainly think that he's probably racist and very bigoted, but he does get things done and you can't really hold that against him. I generally don't think that the whole of America loves Donald Trump, but I think that generally most Brits actually think that possibly Americans love Donald Trump. I don't know. It's something that's portrayed in the media, but I'm not too sure about that one. If you're American though, maybe you could leave your comments down below, because I'd love to hear your viewpoints, and maybe you could even put your comments about some of the things that you think do annoy you about the British. I certainly am a big fan of America, and whilst like any country it's got its misgivings, I do think that the British probably overall think that Americans are a bit crazy, and that's certainly not what I think, but let me know what you think. Anyway, that's the end of today's video, and straight after I finish there'll be an American on anyway, the very famous Jesus. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.
Hi mortals, I'm Jesus. You can now purchase Gaz Reynolds Presents The G-Log, Album Volume 1 from Apple Music, Spotify, and all major outlets around the world. Includes the massive hits Electronic Kama Sutra, I Only Hear You, and Dark Lady. This is one heavenly experience you won't forget. By the way, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification button so that you can watch every episode of the G-Log religiously.
Out now, Gaz Reynolds' new album, The Wedding Album, as featured on Big Review TV and Radio Harrow. Available at iTunes and all major outlets worldwide.